Good rising. So today I'm pretty much going to be talking about how Jesus was a targeted individual, and the Pharisees, Judas, and a couple of the disciples were his gang stalkers. So um, I'm also going to be talking about other instances or verses in the Bible where gang stalking is in there. Um, Disclaimer, I'm not a Christian. I do know and understand that things were taken out of and put into the Bible. So even though there are some prophetic words like prophets words in there, there's also things done by slave owners. There were things taken out, things put in. And that is very important to understand, because why? Obviously things are taken out and put in to deceive or to take away or add to what people would look at as God's word. So it's a lot of things related to slaves, to women, children, men that I know was not from God. Not only because it was edited and because no man is God, so God couldn't have written it, but also because, like, my God would not approve of a lot of stuff that's in there. So I do want to say I don't live by the Bible, but I know there are some truths in there. And I want to just make it clear to you how old gang stalking is. Like, and not in a way where it's not important, because I'm going to show y'all the pictures of the type of shit the neighbors used to put around my house and like do to my house, where I was. But I got the keys to my new place on Good Friday of all days, which that played out in a cool way, but I'm going to talk about that last. First, I feel like if you are a targeted individual, or you know that this is a real thing, it already clicked for you reading the title or hearing the first part, like, clearly. But Judas did betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. So it pretty much talks about, well, it speaks to me, talking about people who will sell you out for very little. Like, give your location, be behind your back, talking to you, people who are like, who have self-proclaimed themselves your enemies. Like, you don't know them, didn't do anything to them, don't have nothing against them, but they're your enemies because they woke up, they decided to be, and not because they woke up and just thought that. I also don't think that they read the Bible or they're spiritual and was like, oh, we're gonna play out these biblical level attacks. But they do biblical style attacks, and that's the point of me doing this, to let y'all know. Like, if you haven't noticed already, one of the biblical style attacks is Jesus and Judas. They'll do anything to get around you. They'll want to be close to you, and then they'll turn on you. Part of the reason is going to be in one of these verses I'm going to read. They do that because that makes them more believable. Like, if they have been around you and you're a meek person, you're a quiet person, then it's more believable what they say about you. I guess the people who believe what people say about people. And also because if they're close to you, they can give your location, or they can pretty much sell you out. But yeah, an example of a Judas in my life, I'm only bringing this person up because it ties into the second thing I'm going to talk about. I've had several, including the person I was with for 9 years, had kids by, and he was very, pretty much all types of abusive, not only physical, mental, but spiritually, because he would try to get me to read, like, to share things with him spiritually, and we would sit down and talk about it. I expressed my feelings about it, and he would act like things are so profound, and he would turn around and use it on me. He would spin it on me, or he would go do the same things that we was talking about was evil, or we was trying to stay away from. All the plans we made spiritually, he pretty much went against it, and was still very physically abusive. So, and then when I was about to leave, then he lets me know that his family is Freemasons. His family has Freemasons in it, or whatever, which is weird because we talked about that before. why are you just telling me when you know I'm about to leave? But I ended up leaving in the middle of the night when he wasn't there. But the guy I want to talk about is the one a couple of years after that, and who called me a sacrificial lamb when I told him I didn't want to talk to him no more. Like, don't call me anymore. Like, go away. He's like, I can't go away because you're the sacrificial lamb or whatever, which is another targeted individual thing. They will try to make you the sacrificial lamb at every situation, which also ties into Jesus, which once again, I'm not saying that I'm Jesus or anybody is Jesus, but according to his words, he said all the things he did, you too shall do, and greater things. So he compared us to him, like, pretty much. But I'm trying not to get too off topic. But anyway, talking about the guy who called me the sacrificial lamb, who also showed up at my back door, beat his dick at my back door and ran away. So that was weird. But he called me not too long ago talking about his brother died, and like, I can do something about this. Like, giving you all these sad reasons for you to let them around you. That's because they know you're a good-hearted person. Okay. One thing I feel like I wanted to say that I didn't say. I don't feel like these people read the Bible or studied and then figured out how to biblically attack you. I feel like it's a spiritual thing. Like, demons and archons can use them to do whatever, to attack God's children. That's why there are people who would just randomly not like you for no reason, people who will attack you for no reason, and it's really for no reason. I'm not talking about people who are out here doing fucked up things to people, hurting people, abusing people, and now you're paying for it in some way. I'm talking about people like myself who pretty much mind your business. I've never done nothing to nobody for no reason. Like, if I flipped out on you or did something to you, you did something to me first. Like, I was defending myself or something. And there are people out there like that. Like, I'm not saying I'm innocent and perfect. What I'm saying is I don't hurt people for no reason. Like, but anyway, if you're like that, that's pretty much the people who this video is for. You somehow still find yourself getting attacked or getting bullied or getting shit like this, like the trash thing from my old place happening, or just getting trolled in real life. I talked about that in another video. Like, gangstalkers are really just the trolls of real life. Like, they... Anyway, moving on to the second example of gangstalking in the Bible with Cain and Abel. I don't really know too much about this story, and I didn't really look too much into it before this video. The verses I'm going to read after this one are just proof that gangstalking is in the Bible. But with Cain and Abel, it reminds me of like how siblings will turn on you. Like the guy I just told y'all about who whipped his thing out in my backyard or whatever. He knew two of my sisters before me. And the thing is, he would come over and chill with me when we all lived together. He would come over there like almost every day, and they told me nothing. The way I found out was after I completely stopped dealing with him. I moved from the house I was living in with them to a house by myself. It didn't give him the address or whatever. Didn't give them the address. And then I'm on the phone with one of my sisters, and she's stupid drunk. So when she's drunk, that's when she tells me that my other sister and her knew him and that he fucked my other sister. I'm like, why would you not tell me this all these years, that you knew he was this and you knew he was bad and you knew that? Because you just wanted to see how it was going to play out? Because why are you telling me after the fact? It's just weird. And those same sisters I heard saying some of the crazy shit about me, but constantly asking me for stuff. Like, I heard it when they were on the back porch. But I think I just was hurt about it, and I didn't never say nothing about it. Wondering if they ever was going to make it clear to me what the issue was, or what they're gonna keep acting like they fuck with me. And the thing is, I'm the youngest. Like, I'm grown as shit, but I'm the youngest. This particular sister was always asking me for stuff, like, constantly. And I'm just giving it to her, like, okay, you're my sister. But to hear that is like worse than bitches on the street saying shit. I don't know. If they were like getting lies from him, and I don't know, it's just sad. But it reminds me of Cain and Abel. But moving on, I'm pretty much going to read these verses. I'm just going to read 3. These verses are from Psalm. So these are either verses you can read to help you through situations where you're being targeted, and it's also just showing how this has been being done to people for I don't know how long, because it is spiritual warfare. That's what it is. We got Psalm 109:2-5. For wicked and deceitful mouths are opened against me, speaking against me with lying tongues. They encircle me with words of hate and attack without cause. In return for my love, they accuse me, but I give myself in prayer. So they reward me evil for good and hatred for my love. Very clear. Psalm 57:6. They set a net for my steps. My soul was bowed down. They dug a pit in my way, but they have fallen into it themselves. Selah. And then the last one I'm going to read, because it's really long, is Psalm 35 of David. Contend, O Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler and rise for my help. Draw the spear and javelin against my pursuers. Say to my soul, I am your salvation. Let them be put to shame and dishonor who seek after my life. Let them be turned back and disappointed who deceive. No, let them be turned back and disappointed who devise against me. Let them, no, it says who devise evil against me. Let them be like chaff before the wind, with the angel of the Lord driving them away. Let their way be dark and slippery, with the angel of the Lord pursuing them. For without cause they hid their net for me. Without cause they dug a pit for my life. Let destruction come upon him when he does not know it, and let the net that he hid ensnare him. Let him fall into it to his destruction. Then my soul will rejoice in the Lord, exulting in his salvation. All my bones shall say, O Lord, who is like you, delivering the poor from him who is too strong for him, the poor and needy from him who robs him. Malicious witnesses rise up. They ask me of things I do not know. They repay me evil for good. My soul is bereaved. But I, when they were sick, I wore sackcloth. I afflicted myself with fasting. I prayed with head bowed on my chest. I went about as though I grieved for my friend or my brother, as one who laments his mother. But at my stumbling they rejoiced and gathered. They gathered together against me. Wretches whom I do not know tore at me without ceasing. Like profane mockers at a feast, they gnash at me with their teeth. How long, O Lord, will you look on? Rescue me from their destruction, my precious life from the lions. I will thank you in the great congregation. In the mighty throng, I will praise you. Let not those rejoice over me who are wrongfully my foes. Like, I don't know you. I didn't do nothing to you. And let not those wink the eye who hate me without cause. For they do not speak peace, but against those who are quiet in the land, they devise words of deceit. That's what I'm talking about. For they do not speak peace, but against those who are quiet in the land, they devise words of deceit. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if you're quiet and meek and you don't really tell people your situations, that's even with abusive relationships or just in general, people can make up whatever they want to make up. But people are going to do that anyway. So, yeah. They open wide their mouths against me to say, aha, aha. Our eyes have seen it, You have seen, O Lord, be not silent. O Lord, be not far from me. Awaken and rouse yourself for my vindication, for my cause, for my God, my Lord. Vindicate me, O Lord, my God, according to your righteousness, and let them rejoice over me. Let them not say in their hearts, I had our heart's desire. Let them not say we have swallowed him up. It reminds me of when people say ate them up, like that's biblical. But let them be put to shame and disappointed altogether who rejoice at my calamity. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor who magnify themselves against me. Let those who delight in my righteousness shout for joy and be glad and say evermore, great is the Lord who delights in the welfare of his servants. Then my tongue shall tell of your righteousness and of your praise all the day long. I meant to say this part in the beginning. Like, if you don't believe in targeted individuals, you don't believe, like, I'm not a skeptic changer, like, or opinion changer. Even when people don't believe in certain things spiritually that I do, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, let me read for you to prove to you. Like, girl, if you don't believe it, like, believe it. Don't believe it. I'm still going to believe it. The thing is, people don't have to believe something for it to be true. So I'm never looking to people. And I just want to tell y'all this story of my Holy Week so y'all can understand. Also, like, because of this part I just read, like, you gotta tell somebody. You don't have to, but I want to tell somebody pretty much how God pretty much validates me in so many ways, which is why I don't look to people for validation. But anyway, I tried to make this video Palm Sunday, the same day that I put up the Jesus Christ Superstar thing on my community tab. So what happened that Palm Sunday was pretty much me just being provoked and antagonized by the people around me that I was living. Like, I was living in the house, and you could say, okay, you live in a house, not outside it. That was my whole attitude. But one thing, like, I just can't stand trash. So they just kept putting a bunch of trash around my house or whatever. I don't know if it was one of the dusty guys who tried to talk to me, and I mean, I was nice, but I just never talked to him. So I don't know if it was him or one of his buddies, or I don't know, but it was happening really. But whatever, I'm gonna show y'all pictures of what they were constantly doing. So the thing is, this was not like just rare events. They was constantly doing this. And that one day I moved it. Like, I would call the city to sweep it a lot, but sometimes I would just move it because I had the big broom or whatever. I would just move it. So I did it that Palm Sunday morning. Sat on the porch for a while. Came in the house or whatever. So a couple hours later, I had ordered IHOP and went back out, and it was the same thing right there that I just cleaned up. So I feel like anybody in their right mind would be like, what the fuck? So I went to go move it again. I came back in the house. So around 4-ish, I look outside, and it's trash everywhere again. So I could see if it was everywhere, it would be annoying, but I wouldn't feel targeted. The thing is, it was not nowhere but in front of my shit. So at that point, I'm like, I got something. I put something in my pocket, and I'm like, I'm about to go out here, move it, and sit right there and just wish somebody would do it in front of my face or whatever. And so at that point, something in me was just like, watch Jesus Christ Superstar. That's how I even started watching the movie. I watched it on Apple TV or whatever. I think it was like $4. But either way, after I watched it, I tried to make this video, and it had no sound. But I think that's pretty much because of the events that happened after. It was meant to kind of be like a testimony. So that next day, the Monday after Palm Sunday, I got a phone call pretty much from... Okay, so the house that I'm in now that I just moved into yesterday, okay, it was supposed to be done in October. Yeah. So it's supposed, because they built it from the ground up, they were supposed to be done in October. Like, I did my paperwork and everything in October. So it kept getting pushed back, pushed back, pushed back, pushed back. So the woman called me and told me everything was done. I can come get my keys on Thursday, that Monday after Palm Sunday. Got here Thursday. Something was wrong with the system or whatever the fuck. I didn't get my keys. I had to come back the next day, which was Good Friday, to get my keys. So for me, like, it just all naturally lines up. And yesterday, we actually moved all my stuff in here. Yesterday was Earth Day. I don't know. It just be certain signs. Even if y'all don't understand what I'm saying right now, which I'm sure somebody will, but that's just signs that God be giving me that pretty much I got you. So it just helps me to continue not looking for validation for other people and look for it within myself, and also to not let outside circumstances pretty much control who I know I am and what I know I can do and how I feel about myself or my life at any moment. Like, regardless of what's happening outside or around me, I got something pretty much within me, and I'm pretty much in the palm of God's hand at all times. So it's nothing that I feel like is too big for God to fix, which just helps me not look to people as much as I used to. And that's one thing I definitely want to instill in my kids and moving forward, because a couple weeks ago I was looking crazy. And it's not to say that, oh, I'm rescued now and nothing's going to happen, because nothing that would happen as it relates to people could ever surprise me. Like, people don't even surprise me no more. Because like I said already, I know they can be used. Like, people who are not governed by anything. Mostly it's people who don't love or respect anything unless it's related to some type of sensation, instant gratification, or money. Those are normally the type of people who will be used by demons all the time. And not just against you, like just against good people. It can be against children, against God's children in general, against good people. So I just want to get this out, like part lesson, part testimony type situation. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed or got something from this. Thanks for listening. Peace.